of the great apes, the fossil record, and the search for unidentified hominids. Their mission is to focus on how to find these unidentified creatures and establish once and for all if they exist.
This is one of the most intriguing questions of zoological exploration that faces science in this modern era.
Jeff Meldrum has first-hand experience of what may have been Bigfoot.
Did you hear that?
That rock was pretty good size. Let's stay here. We've had action there. We've had rocks thrown at us.
In 2007, he was part of a team besieged by an unidentified rock-throwing creature in a remote Canadian cabin.
One of us was urinating off the porch when the first stone hit the side of the cabin.
I'm still shaking.
Teammate Ian Redmond has led several expeditions searching for evidence of the Yeti. He's convinced something unexplained is out there.
If you put aside the hoaxers and the ones that are clearly mistaken identity, there's still a nugget, which is why we're all here.
The team will concentrate on a fundamental principle. If Bigfoot is real, it must fit into our understanding of the natural world, meaning it must do everything other animals do, from feeding to finding a mate. The scientists first examine the best evidence available, video and film footage. There are hundreds of examples of this sort of evidence for Bigfoot. Their first task is to eliminate the hoaxes. This video shot near the Canadian town of Banff seems convincing enough, until you realize an identical creature was seen promoting a local business the night before.
What is that? Don't tell me that's a Yeti.
Then there are the videos where the images are so indistinct, they could be almost anything. Once they eliminate the obvious hoaxes and the images that are so blurred or out of focus to make any real identification possible, there's very little left. The experts are not so surprised.
Animals are there at home in their environment, and we're often the intruder, the visitor, and evading human detection is not that difficult.
Just how well animals can live undetected by man was proven by this incredible video footage shot in 2007. It's almost all the evidence we have of a new species of man-sized primate, the billy ape. Found in the remote forest of Congo, Africa, it took primatologists a year to track down and film these giant-sized 300-pound chimps. But local people had talked about them for generations. Anna Nakaris has discovered 6 new species of primates.
I believe very much in what local people say. And if local people tell me something is there, I have a suspicion that it may be, even if I haven't seen it.
The team points to the discovery of the billy ape as a positive indicator for Bigfoot. If a new species as large as this has managed to live undetected by science for so long, could other species of giant ape-like creatures still be out there? The team goes in search of answers, heading out into the heart of the densest clusters of Bigfoot sightings in the world. And they tackle the single most controversial piece of Bigfoot evidence ever. A team of leading scientists are searching for evidence of Bigfoot that cannot be dismissed. Their goal? To separate fact from fiction and create the definitive guide to this mysterious creature. Research has identified the forests of British Columbia as one of its most probable habitats. Now Ian Redmond takes the search directly into the field. He's one of the world's leading gorilla trackers and is using his highly trained eye to look for signs of an unknown species of ape. Redmond is on Vancouver Island, a place where sightings of Sasquatch are so common, it's sometimes nicknamed Ape Island. first thing he uncovers is a mysterious structure, one of several found on different parts of the island. It's an example of what is often referred to as a Sasquatch stick structure.
It is intriguing.
Whatever did it, meant to do it. It's not an accident of trees falling. We can look all around us and see the odd tree falling, but nothing like this structure, this stick structure, which is what they're referred to as. The great apes all build nests to sleep in. They sometimes interweave bamboo stems that are this sort of thickness and therefore impossible for a man alone to break. And they form a platform above the ground to sleep on. But that doesn't look like anyone slept in it. It's just an interesting structure.
But if it isn't a nest, what could it be?
Ah, but that is interesting because it was broken off before it fell.
Redmond suspects another motive for the structure, which is also common in gorilla behavior.
If its intention is to tell other Sasquatch that there's a powerful male here and he can break off sticks, that would be an interesting interpretation. If its intention is to warn humans not to enter into the Sasquatch territory, I don't think it's working. This is going to intrigue us all the more.
While the stick structures may not be conclusive, the fact is, the global map indicates that sightings in this area date back more than a century. One of Vancouver Island's hotspots is the area around the small town of Duncan, and sightings continue right up to the present day. It was 5 miles from here in 2005 that a local resident had what he describes as an encounter with a giant ape-like creature. Corey Combs is a local dirt bike rider. He grew up in and around the forests of central Vancouver Island. One June evening, he was out on his motorbike when he saw what he believes to have been a Sasquatch, face to face.
Set up camp, had a fire going. Got kind of late, and I could hear the bushes moving and branches breaking, but I didn't think much about it. But the noises, they kept coming, and I had that sense of something was watching me. And we got our flashlight going, and the batteries were just about to die. And all I remember was seeing the light shine on its face before the battery died. And that was the instant that I knew exactly what was watching me, and that it was indeed Sasquatch. Very distinctive facial features, real broad cheeks, and very predominant eyebrow structure. The face of what looked like an ape. It turned, and then it was gone. And it just left me in just pure terror.
In June 2006, another alleged Sasquatch encounter took place 17 miles west of Duncan. Alan Robertson had pulled onto the roadside with his boat on a trailer when what he thinks could have been a giant ape suddenly attacked.
We stopped, do a pee break, but then everything started shaking inside the truck. My stepson says, "We're rolling backwards, we're rolling backwards." I said to him, "No, I've got my foot on the brake, I'm in park." This fear came over me. The safety chain was just hanging. The boat itself was twisted in its cradle, and there was 3 cracks here and 2 cracks here. Even now, when you think back, I get, shivers.
A third nighttime encounter with what the witness thought was a giant ape took place in June of 2009 on Mount Sicker, 6.5 miles from Duncan. Andrew DeWall was out putting his 4x4 through its paces on a forest road when he pulled in at the top of the mountain to check out the spectacular early evening view. But as he turned to an area of recently logged trees, he saw something he couldn't believe.
It looked like your typical picture of a Sasquatch that you'd see on a commercial. It had the flat face, the long draped hair, his arms were down by his knees. It popped up from behind that stump, just kind of came up. They had moved up into about that range, and I just kind of laughed it off, you know? You don't expect to see something like that walking on two legs through the bush. So we got out of the truck, I picked up some rocks and I threw them off the corner of my Jeep, and then from the back corner of my vehicle, something yelled at us. Sounded like 20 dogs perfectly in sync, barking at once. It's kind of like a punch in the back of the head. And that's when we both kind of got scared and drove out of here.